wanted to show you a tutorial on Substance Painter, retexturing these objects in Substance Painter. I decided to use Staff 006 because I like it. It's got this cool transparent glass bit towards it with it, and there's a lot we can do with it. So I'm going to go ahead and load up in Substance Painter Staff 006. This is something you can download from my website, infinitypbr.com, once you purchase the asset. And you'll notice that most of my objects are going to be set up very similar to this, where they've got like an old version, and you can just click that on. You see just an old version. You expand that by pressing here. You see this one just has some mud on it, and that just makes it a little bit more old. We're going to turn that off for now though. So let's say we want to redo this entirely. So I'm going to start from scratch here and do a new folder, and we're going to call this new texture. And then I'll do a new one here, default texture, and you know what, I should keep those on. Move that here under default texture, and we'll turn default texture off. Alright, now if things are taking long for you, go to texture settings. I might actually ship these at 2K just to keep the file size down. You can always bring it back up to 4K. The maps that are already 4K are going to stay, but Substance Painter will redraw some of the ones that I can redraw for the resolution. 2K is just going to be a little bit faster to work with. Alright, so let's go ahead and start making this again. For this version, I'm going to use a wood pull. So I'm going to go in my, just search for wood, and just find a wood that I like here. So I know I've got some pre-made ones that I enjoy, but let's see what this driftwood looks like here. Just bring it here, and actually brought it to the wrong spot. There we go. Now that's a little different. I'm going to say no to that one. Instead, I'm going to go back to one of my old faithfuls here, the ones that I've already made that I know I like. I'm going to use the one that I have got pre-rotated with all the stuff rotated. So I'm going to keep this, but I only want it on the pole here. I don't want it for the whole staff. That wouldn't really make sense. So I'm going to add a mask with a color selection. All I did there was right click here, and then I'm going to click add mask with color selection. Now my ID mask has already been put into the ID section here. So I'm going to pick color, and it lets me just pick that color, and now we've got the wood right there. So that's a pretty good way to start things out. And now let's work on these upper and lower metal bits. I think they should be metal. So I'm going to rename this wood staff, and then I'm going to make a new one here and call it this metal one. These are going to be like ornaments and stuff. So I'm just going to find a metal that I like. Silver armor is a good go-to here. So obviously it's everywhere, and I don't want it to be everywhere. So I'm going to just metal one, right click, add mask with color selection. We're going to pick a color here. I want it there. I want it here at the bottom too. And I think I'm going to want it on these bolts right here. That should be good. So we'll keep those. And then down here I'm going to do something a little bit different. You want to add an accent here, so we're going to make another new folder. Double click there on the tile, call this color metal, and for that I'm going to choose, let me try something out here. Let me try this bronze armor. That's a pretty nice look. This is a smart material. It's got all these extra filters on it, so it's not just a flat metal color. I'm gonna start this with a color selection, so I just put it down there, and maybe put it right here as well. And then I want to change the color, have the option to change the color here. So I'm going to add a new layer. Oops, wrong one. So it's just a blank layer, and on this one I'm going to add a filter. I'm going to search for, click on that to search for one, HSL, hue, saturation, lightness, perceptive, and then if I put this as a pass-through layer, then I should be able to change the color. There you go. So now you can change the color to just that one object. So if I want to make it sort of a purple metal, I can do that. You can also adjust a little bit more. So I'm going to make it this kind of dull blue. Saturation a little high, and then make it a little darker there. So it's a little nice blue metal. Okay. And then I'm going to add a dark metal right here. So I'm going to new layer again, dark metal, and then I'm going to find a dark one. This cobalt dark or cobalt damage is a good one. You can see it's got some texture on it as well. And so I'm going to go with that one, pick a color, select there, pick another color, select down here. There we go. Alright, and this section here and that, those look like those could be gems. So I'm gonna add a gem. Let me collapse that, select here, a new folder, we're going to call this gem 1, or maybe we'll call it small gems. And I'm gonna look for some gem or crystal. Let's see what I got here. Got this one that I've made before. Got some that I've downloaded from Substance Share and Substance Source. This crystal could be interesting. Let's see what that looks like. Already I know it's going to be over everything, so I'm just going to have to create another mask with color selection and select only the two colors, or two areas rather, that I'd like this to be. Now you don't really get that definition here that this crystal has, so I'm going to bring up the scale a little bit, make it maybe 5, and then see that. It's kind of interesting. I like this crystal a lot, but I don't think it fits for this, so I'm just going to throw that out there and maybe try a different one. What about this pyrite, little metal crystals? Same deal, I don't like that. Okay, what about, I've got pre-saved crystal, it's more of a diamond look to it. Alright, that's very different. It wasn't what I was expecting. I've got all these other ones saved. That might make it easy. That's just adding damage to it. Alright, here we go. This gemstone may work. It's like a stone rather than a crystal. Okay, any of that damage. So we'll go with that. And because this is green, I kind of want to make that something I can change too. I'm going to open my color metal here, click on that, and then take this layer one. I'm going to rename this HSL. I'm going to duplicate this. So just right click, duplicate layer, bring this up here, and now if I select this HSL perceptive, I can change the color around. So I can make this a blue crystal as well. Maybe up the saturation a little bit. Okay, no, I like that a little bit better. Okay, so let's work on the part up here. You know what happens if I put this here too? I like that. I think this is the one I had before. So I'm going to go with it again because I liked it. I enjoyed having that. And then we need to do something for this top metal here. So I'm going to create a new folder, and we're going to call this top metal 1, and we'll search for metal again. Just see what kind of metal I've got. I've got a lot of silver going on, and I think that's good. I could use more of the same. Let's see what if I just do silver armor and do color selection here. On that, how about instead of that, we'll pick the color here. If I take my dark metal and color selection, I can just see what that would look like if I add that to the dark one. It is interesting. Kind of like that. So rather than doing more metal colors and metal types, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Definitely like that look. So I want to do a few other things though. This down here, these kind of leaves, I wanna adjust those to or add, change those out. So I'm gonna create a new folder and call this leaves. And then for this one, I'm gonna take this aluminum, put that over there, and I'm gonna add a black mask, which will mask everything out. So you can see these leaves right here. I'm gonna click polygon fill right here, and then I'm going to choose, let's see, UV chunk fill. I'm going to click on this chunk. So now you can see that these two sides have been filled with that look. So that makes it pretty easy to do some of those. You can see it from back there. And since they are leaves, I do want them to be green. So again, I'm going to change, instead of doing HSL, this time I'm going to select the base color and make it green. Like this. So there you go. So now I've got green leaves on the bottom. And I want to make these emissive as well. That's the last thing I want to do. And to do that, I'm going to my texture settings. If it's not already emissive, then you would have to go up here and click channels and select emissive. Now this one already has an emissive value. And so I'm going to go back to my layers. I'm going to create a new layer, just call this emission. I'm going to create a fill layer, bring that in here, turn off everything but the emission. And emissive color is going to be blue, like that, to match the blue gem. And I'm going to add a mask with color selection. I'm going to select the top gem, and this one will do the bottom two gems as well. There you go. So now those will emit light, and they should look pretty cool. Last thing we can do is add some damage and dirt if we'd like. So I'm going to create a new folder here called old. This is the way I like to do it. You can do it however you choose. Just choose some dirt here. One of my favorite muds, which I do almost all the time, is this mud brown. I'm just going to bring that into the dirt here. Obviously it does not look good as is. One thing I like to do is take the height and select the height from this drop down, and then bring that down to something really small, because you can see the height change there. I find that it doesn't really look too good to have a lot of height in this dirt here. So I'm going to bring that down even smaller, probably 10, oops, 9 or 10, whatever. And then select base color again, because it looks prettier. And then I'm going to, in my dirt here, I'm going to find a smart mask. Just select smart masks down here. And we've got a lot of options that are kind of just preset for me, so I'm just going to try that. Then turn it on and off just to see. So kind of works. You can see the difference in the light. Right here I'm holding down shift and using my right mouse button to move the sun around. You can see the light. And let me go back and show you what it looks like when we don't bring the height down. So without the height going down, you get that kind of look where it almost looks like the metal is corroded. That's definitely a look that you might like, but for our purposes here, we don't want that, so I'm going to bring it down to very, very small amounts. It was somewhere around here before. I might bring it down a little bit lower even. Almost to 0. You could make it 0 if you wanted to as well. There we go. So if there's any other questions, please let me know on the Unity forums. Oh, before we go, let's export this. So I like the look. I'm gonna just Command Shift E to export, or you can go up here to export textures. And then now I've created a Unity 5 custom, and to do this, go to Configuration, and you'll find the Unity 5 standard metallic there. I create a duplicate of that. You can do that by pressing this button here, and then in Unity Custom you can see the difference. The difference is that I've changed the names to albedo opacity, metal roughness from transparency and smoothness. But other than that, I didn't change the details there. I did add a new one. This is metal AO height rough. You can see I put the metal in the metallic, in the red channel, the AO, ambient occlusion, the green, the height, and then the glossiness right here in the rough section. So this is the way it's going to be set for the HDRP texture. So I'm going to go back to export, make sure my staff is set to 4K here. It's not going to be used like this in game, but it's best to have it as high as possible. In Unity you can always set it to be smaller there. And I'm going to choose where my export should go and call this Unity Extra. Open that and export that. Alright, so now in my structure here I've got Unity Extra, and we can see the maps right here. Map. So I'm going to bring these into Unity. My staff 6, they're all going to be the same. There's to reveal this in Finder. They're all going to be the same name, so I don't want to replace them. So I'm just going to drag this over. Whoops. Drag this over there. Oops, make a duplicate of it instead. And then that's going to bring those into Unity. And now I'm going to make a duplicate of this 7 or 6B. I'm going to make this transparent for, oh, not yet. And then I'm going to open up my extras and bring these in here. I'm going to use the HDRP map, normal map, and then fix that. And make sure I put the emission on there as well. Alright, and then make a duplicate of this. Call this transparent, and this is going to be transparent for the gem up here. Kind of see through it, even though it's got the emission. And then for the rest, we'll bring this up here. Just drag these over. There are, of course, a lot of parts to this one. There we go. And now we've got a new look for the staff here. That's all there is to it. All of the meshes are set up. In fact, if you're watching this, all of my characters are set up in the same way. If you've got the Substance Painter source files, you can just go in there and you know, start playing around, turn the old version on or off, or mix it up a little bit. Go to the switched out version. You know, there's a lot you can do with Substance Painter. The results are far better than any customization I could ever allow you to do in Unity. So I strongly encourage you to get the free trial of Painter and play around with these. And when you're ready, sign up for their service. I think it's $20 a month for indies. It's not that expensive and totally worth it. Even if you only use it for a month or two and then, you know, be done with it once you've got some custom textures made for your game. Totally worth it. And although there's a lot going on here, you know, once you get the hang of it, you get the hang of it. It's one of those things. So anyways, have a great day. Thanks.